inverted, narcissistic, and most importantly, completely pointless. Come waste an hour of your week with The Starting Block, Friday nights Australian time at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. Get in touch with us on Twitter at The Starting Block, no K at the end. Also, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or iTunes by searching for The Starting Block, all one word, or on Podbean at startingblock.podbean.com. Join the blockheads, tuning in their millions, right around the world.
You're listening to The Starting Block on TAVshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Okie dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
Hey, welcome to the Starting Block for another week. Big show as always. We don't have much this week because we used up all our content in the 3-hour massive super show last week. But we did have muted word of the week for all suitcase protocols, hot toss, all that and much, much more here on the block.
Standing tall on the wings of my dream. Rise and fall on the wings of my dream. Rain and thunder, wind and haze, I'm bound for better days. My life, my dream, nothing's gonna stop me now.
Greeno here from the Starting Block. On behalf of the block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok, and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is TAVshow.com's game. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to The Starting Block for another week. You got myself, Greeno, and I'm joined by a man who wants to keep this bad boy to a tight hour, but if you just followed my rundown, we'd be out here in 30 minutes flat. My co-captain Damo, how are we, sir?
Very good, Greeno. Good evening, boys, girls, listenership around the world, millions, blockheads. How you doing? Yep. We had a discussion in the pre-show, Greeno. This is probably going to be a little...
I like stories about pinatas.
Does it count as pre-show if it's about 6 hours before the show?
It might be.
I like stories about pinatas.
Yeah, a little bit. So it would be the story of the pre-show would be this story, and we discussed this story, and we thought, you know what, we can't have a repeat of, you know, a couple of weeks in the last, let's say, month to 6 weeks block, Greeno. Couple of shows have gone off the rails a little bit.
Generally, when Big E joins the show,
usually
the show seems to go pretty long, and it becomes a test of stamina and how much you can consume and still be like semi-professional on the microphone on a Friday night here in Australia.
Not much.
Not much. No, I've come to realize we each week unintentionally we seem to get drunker and drunker. As the show, I don't know whether we start drinking earlier, but it just seems like we're more pissed by the end of each show every single week for the last month. This week, we're like, we can circumvent that. We've got two options. We can cut out the drinking or start earlier. We went the latter.
Can't we do both?
No drinking.
No, I mean the opposite. Can't we have both? Like
we can.
We can just continue drinking and
No, I'm saying there was two options. We could have started earlier and just drink at our normal level, or stop drinking and start at normal time. We're like, well, fuck the reduction of drinking. Yeah, we'll just deal with that.
Just start earlier.
Start early. Quick story time if we can, because that's
I like stories about pinatas.
So we talked about on the show, I've become, during the winter months here in Australia, a little bit chilly, like not stupid cold at all. Don't get me wrong. Like we're not in America cold where you like freeze your nuts off and stuff because there's snow. But it's chilly enough that it feels like a warm beverage is appropriate in the evening when it dips below, 10 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, a little warm cup of Milo, perhaps, Greeno, a little hot chocolate.
In my instance,
a Nesquik if you're a poor person, because the poor people have Nesquik, Greeno.
You could do that.
Instead of Milo. That. Can't have the Milo, kid. It's too expensive. Too
expensive to go. The half-price Nesquik, which tastes like fucking terrible.
Well, it tasted like powder. Yeah, and that's what it was.
Tasted like why it cost, a quarter of the price.
Yeah.
So, myself, personally a fan of the hot toddies. We talked about this on the show.
I still really don't know what a hot toddy is. You've explained it to me. I know, but I keep forgetting because I don't know,
So it's whiskey. It's boiling hot water. It's honey and lemon juice. It's fucking delicious.
Okay.
It's the perfect drink for the winter months.
The winter months, like there's so many, like it's such a long, hard winter down here in southeast Australia.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a tough time. The harvest, Greeno. We lost half a crop out there this year. It's going to be a brutal winter, Greeno.
Lettuce is $11, mate. Fuck, man.
I know.
That's how bad it is.
Did you see the outrage about KFC? Now KFC has transitioned.
Is this the cabbage thing that we already talked about
it's gone,
the last 2 weeks?
No. It's gone further than that. It's progressed further than that, you see.
It's gone deeper.
Oh, much deeper,
Greeno.
My
story then.
Okay, well, pause the story
I like
momentarily.
stories about pinatas.
So the latest
This show's not getting done in a hard hour, sir.
No, but you keep to the clock, not to the rundown, you see.
No, the rundown.
So you can finish whenever you want, and it doesn't matter. It's just, you keep an eye on the clock. That's how you roll. Imagine if you were like, no, sorry, I can't finish at 7 because I'm still halfway through my rundown, so I don't care who's following me. Tell them
that's
the
what
way.
we used to deal with at the radio show.
Yeah, or people banging on the door demanding the studio time. Yeah.
We got random motorsport to talk about.
Random motorsport. Yeah.
Sorry, KFC. Updates,
KFC. So it's progressed now to the point where KFC's like kind of openly threatening their restaurant goers now at this point. And they're like, if you don't get behind this, prices are going to go up. We're going to have to throw the prices up. And I'm like, is that really a good way to endear people to your product? Because here in, southeastern Australia, we have a lot of chicken options, openly available. So, and KFC, I wouldn't say, KFC used to be top of the pile, Greeno, but it's not anymore. They're slipping, Greeno.
You reckon? See, KFC's still top for me. Right on the heels, though, or Portos.
Yeah, a Porto. You need to try the new fried Red Rooster shit because they're doing...
I had to go off Red Rooster for a bit because they dodged me. Like, the nuggets, they realised they were their frozen packet nuggets. They were no good.
Yeah.
The tenders were packet tenders, no good.
No.
They fucked me over with
They have a whole new menu.
Where
now.
they got rid of the banana and just gave me 2 bits of pineapple or banana. Like a Hawaiian pack is like a banana and a pineapple.
Well,
That's
how
it
much
works.
is a banana though these days with lettuce?
Doesn't matter.
$11
It's fucking,
a head.
I'll pay what I need to pay for a Hawaiian pack as long as it has both. Then dick me around with the like, oh, sorry, we can't afford the banana anymore.
No, I'm telling you, they've got a whole new menu now, and it's like a fried, crispy skin chicken, and it's got a whole new range, and so it's like a side menu. And I'm telling you, man, it fucking shits. It shits on KFC because you know,
check this bad boy out.
well, it's a different texture because you know the KFC, it's slimy like skin. You know, that's just the way they roll. But hang on,
this is. I don't buy the chicken.
This is just on the crispier side, and it's just fucking. It's just good. You'll like it, trust me.
No,
check it out.
It's worth a shot.
It will go top of the pops. And now, so KFC has lost, in my opinion, KFC has lost its like dominance. It's like Manchester United. You know what I mean? All through the 90s, they're the team, but now you know what? They're coming down the hill a little bit. They're rolling down into the valley, and someone else, some plucky newcomer, is taking its place. You see what I did there with plucky, Greeno?
I can see. Well done. Nice pun intended.
Paid the big bucks.
Can I offer a thought? Can I offer a quick thought?
Yeah.
Who's going to KFC and intentionally ordering something that has lettuce on it anyway?
Yeah, well, yeah, you know,
Like,
lettuce does come.
Hear
like,
me out.
without
If they're
asking.
going, we're going to fucking jump up the price.
Yeah.
We'll just go, well, I want the zinger. Fucking hold
the
the
lettuce.
Like, we're not buying the thing for the lettuce. We're buying it for the big fat zinger fillet and the cheese and the sauce and all that kind of shit. No one wants the lettuce anyway. Just fuck the lettuce off. Reduce the price.
Yeah.
That would have been a smart marketing strategy. Going, look, we realize it's all fucking greasy anyway.
Yes.
We're fucking off the lettuce.
You give them, offer them some carrot instead of just stick, Greeno, because they just went straight to, you know, whacking you in the wallet and kicking the prices up instead of offering you an incentive. Hey, look, we'll take 50 cents off that shit if you say you don't want lettuce. Yeah. They'd still be in front, so that's a fucking dick move.
I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm going to go down to KFC and go, look, I want
give them this
zinger.
marketing advice that you've come up with
to
the chick behind the counter.
I'm going to save you money. Tell you what, take a buck off the zinger, hold the lettuce.
She's going to be like, look, my manager's on a coffee break right now. Did you have an appointment or something? Or?
Manager's not old enough to drink coffee, sir.
Yeah.
That's fucking fair point. I'm going to do that tomorrow, just to be a dick. Now, back to my story, if we can.
Please.
I like stories about pinatas.
So the hot toddy. So winter months, like to have a nice hot toddy in the evening. Just kind of like settles everything down, warms me up. End of a long day.
Sure.
So before this show, because this show, like we point out, been going for like 2.5, 3 hours lately, right?
Yeah.
So I have like a cup, a nice big cup of tea of hot toddy. But then I'm like, well, that thing's going to go in the first hour, and this show's going 3.
Right.
So what I've been doing is I've been creating in a thermos a second thing to refill my hot toddy.
Oh, okay. So
Because
you're now getting like 2 liters of hot toddy in there.
Well, no, not 2 liters. Like it's literally 1 cup's worth in the thermos.
All right.
But so halfway
How
through
big
the show,
is the cup though? Is it like a German ceramic beer
No,
stein?
it's just a regular coffee cup. So whatever the regular coffee cup size is, that's what the thermos is.
Okay, so why don't you get a travel mug then, though? Because a thermos seems like overkill. If you've only got 1 cup worth in there, then you can just get a travel mug that does the same job.
I've got a travel mug, but I don't want to. I'm kind of creating a second cup anyway.
I reckon it would stay hotter in the travel mug because there's less air in there.
No, the thermos keeps it boiling hot. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. Right. So
I do love a good thermos in winter. I haven't had one for like
great.
10 years.
So good. It keeps the hot toddies warm. So anyway, the wife on Saturday was like, "What's with the thermos?" Like, because she saw it in front of the.
Are you going camping?
No, she's like, she saw it in like the washing pile. Yeah. She's like, "What's with the thermos?"
Why is it in with the socks as well?
And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, you didn't put hot toddies in that, did you?" I'm like, "What fucking earth I did?" She's like, "What do you mean?"
What's it for?
So I had to explain, going, well, halfway through the show, like, I finished my hot toddy. I can't go inside, boil the kettle, fucking mix it up, put some honey, put some lemon, fucking get some cinnamon in there, whip it up, boil it, stir it, keep it all balanced, test it. No, I don't have time for that. Fucking the Joy of Pepsi ad only goes for like 28 seconds. I don't have time.
We're on a limit here.
And she's like, well, I think you have a problem. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, well, you're making a hot toddy to take into the show. I'm like, well, is it any different to me grabbing a beer out of the fridge?
And sitting on the couch.
Halfway through the show, sitting on the couch. Well, not even that. It's just like, well, what's the difference between a hot toddy and me grabbing a beer out of the fridge halfway through the show? So it made me think, like, are we drinking too much on the show? When the wife's questioning the weird alcohol content and the making of the hot toddy in a thermos to bring into the studio.
Okay.
So today, there's no hot toddy.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, fucking, I'm not going to be judged.
Oh, no, that's no good. Now, see, can I offer you a retort?
I
to
like
that?
stories about
So what I've done-
pinatas.
Fucking big crack pipe before I came on the show, mate. Fucking just to fire me through it. That'll keep me warm, right?
Just to get you the edge.
Just give me the edge. Fire me through because I can't get a hot toddy halfway through. Big crack pipe, nice and warm right now.
Yeah. I would say, hear me out here. I would think that her questioning comes from not so much a place of how much you're drinking on the show, but the strange way you're taking it into, like, because a thermos full of alcohol is a different social impact.
Full of alcohol.
I know, but hang on, but it's a different impact on a person as just say grabbing a beer out of the fridge, which everyone is kind of used to. You know, if you carry a thermos around with you and it's like, well, what's in there? Oh, that's my fucking hot toddy, you know, my hot toddy mix.
It's fucking cold.
Then she's probably like, well, maybe you're going a little bit too hard now because you're now doing preparation work and pouring it in the thermos. I mean, it's a different level.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not bringing the hot toddies into the studio during summer.
No, that would be ridiculous.
That'd be ridiculous.
Don't be crazy, babe. I would never do that.
Yeah.
No, in the summer you take in, the hip flask instead.
The esky.
Yeah. The esky, full of piss. Yeah,
exactly.
You can sink a carton of beer.
17 beers, as long as there's not one hot toddy in the thermos, we're sweet.
You can sit there and drink a carton, 24 beers, sit there like a fucking Jabba the Hutt on the piss all day, right? From 10 a.m. to say 6 p.m. You could polish that sucker off and throw up in your mate's swimming pool. And that would be more acceptable than, say, pulling a hip flask out at the lineup at the Ticketek and taking a swig out of it. Because if you're one person, you take one swig out of your whiskey fucking flask on a cold morning, everyone judges you immediately. Like, look at this fucking hobo degenerate.
I don't rate it.
But you can sink 24 cans of piss and throw up in your mate's pool and everyone go, yeah, mate, it was a hot day. You know, he's a good bloke. It was fun, you know, but hey, these things happen, mate. Don't worry about it and you'll be fine.
We make a very fucking fair point here. I'm calling because we just finished Pride Month.
Is it over already? Is it? Shit.
It's over already. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to extend the olive branch to the other raging alcoholics out there, and for equality of open alcoholism.
Open alcoholism.
Because I feel like you're right. People will smash down 24 schooners, not be judged.
Yes.
But one little sip out of a hip flask or a hot toddy in a thermos, and suddenly
bad man,
got a problem.
Yep.
So fucking no good. So this month on the block will be Raging Alcoholism Equality Month.
That's fantastic.
I don't know what flag we'll have. We'll come up with a flag. We'll get an ambassador.
Question. What would the flag be? I reckon it should be a dartboard.
A dartboard, that sounds good. I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get Fev on board for the ambassador.
Nice. I like where this is going. Definitely. How about
maybe
Kimi
the car?
Räikkönen? How about Kimi Räikkönen drives the float in our parade, Greeno, in our alcoholic pride parade?
Kimi, who will have a vodka for breakfast.
He's going to have strippers on either side of a ski-doo, Greeno.
Yeah. I reckon the Khan, we need to get the Khan on board somewhere as well.
I reckon we have a machine. I reckon we have a snow machine out front of Kimi, just creating the fucking snow path for him on his ski-doo. With the strippers on either side, Greeno, so he can lead the thing. You know, we'll have a winter-themed parade, Greeno.
Yeah,
It'll be amazing because you warm up with the hot toddies you see in winter.
The hot toddies, fuck yes. Now we're talking. Kimi lover. Imagine sitting down having a hot toddy with Kimi.
Kimi Räikkönen.
Kimi, Fev, and the Khan.
It was an okay parade. It was lucky I was in town at the time. I mean, I wouldn't do this for the money they offered. It was not very good, but maybe a stay or a night or two in Sydney Harbour is okay.
Something like it. I'm a bit concerned about the man who's urinating in his own mouth as part of the festivities, but hey, it's breaking up the snow for me and it saves a little bit of plowing. We just
I had to pay for my own ski-doo petrol. So
we can't afford it. Like I got millions, but I can't afford the petrol. Too expensive. Like it's diesel $2.40. Too expensive.
Yeah, we can't actually come to think of it. We can't have him in a real ski-doo because we can't really afford the petrol.
Can't afford the petrol.
What we'll do, Greeno, is we'll do that thing where we make a ski-doo out of a box and we'll hang it off his shoulders and he can run around and go brrr, brrr,
Little rascal style. I like it.
Little rascal style.
Damo, muted word of the week. It's been a
Muted
while
word
since
of
we've
the
done
week.
muted word of the week. So
It's
for
good to
our
see.
uninitiated,
It's good to see another word getting wiped out. Let's go.
yeah,
Looking forward.
for our uninitiated listeners, have we got any listeners? I doubt it.
No,
Fucking no.
no.
It's listening.
No.
Really? And let's have a look. What do we
I'm
love
barely
right now?
listening, and I'm here.
Yeah. You've done well to get this far into the show,
I know.
to be fair.
Honestly,
0 viewers right now.
fantastic.
Zero on the feed. Even Restream isn't watching. That's a fucking sad state of affairs.
That's
They
fantastic.
don't like the early start, Damo.
The fans love their early starts, Greeno.
These guys aren't getting drunk enough. We don't like it.
Fans love their early starts, mate. I'm telling
They
you.
can sense I didn't have a hot toddy with me. It's no good.
I know. We did 25 hours on flasks and hot toddies. 25 minutes, pardon me.
25 minutes. So, muted word of the week, Damo. Now, I didn't
Hot
realize
toddy.
until this one actually fucking pains me. I don't want to do it. But I didn't realize how many fans of Matty Wade there are in America.
Oh, really? Okay.
Fucking all week they've been talking about Matty Wade. I don't know who this fucking Rowe dude is, but he must have had like a fucking big battle against Matty Wade in maybe the Indian T20.
Okay.
But Matty Wade, Rowe, and Wade muted.
Wow. Nice, Gary. Why? Because they were involved in some kind of sport incident, so it just polluted your timeline.
Well, it must have been because America were just fucking going nuts about this Rowe
America?
and Wade thing.
Why would they care about Matty Wade? What did he do? What happened? I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. It's fucking some dude named
Because you
Wade.
muted it. You don't know.
I know. Not paying attention.
So know what's going on. Haven't seen
No,
it.
it's gone. So
Muted
that's
it before I could.
Muted it.
Before I could see what it was, I muted it,
Before
so
I
I
could
didn't
find
have
out why
to.
Americans were up in arms about Roe v. Wade, I fucking
Oh,
just
Roe
muted
v.
it.
Wade.
Nice, Gary.
Fantastic. Yep.
Damo, what is
Oh,
Thanks for
Roe
catching-
v. Wade. Wow.
Thanks for catching up.
Thanks, bro.
But that's muted. We had to mute it.
Yeah.
Ruin my timeline.
Of course.
No, we need to get drunker. Can we reconvene? I'll go and make a hot toddy.
Another one. You really do have a problem.
Everyone's got a problem. Let's talk protocols, Damo. Let's talk problems. Now, I don't know
Problems.
about you.
Yeah.
But if
I got problems. I don't know about you. Everyone's got them.
if you're let's say you're at a hotel and some random Saudi person tries to hand you a suitcase, are you taking the suitcase assuming it's full of cash, or going, nah, mate, I'll give that a miss? What are your thoughts in that scenario?
I would wonder if he works there or he thinks I does. Or he thinks I do. Like
100%.
Yeah.
That is 100% correct. You might have been a concierge, perhaps, that he's mistaken.
Maybe.
Now, that unfortunate scenario is going to happen to one Prince Charles.
Yep.
Recently,
Prince of Wales will not accept suitcases of cash in the future, Greeno, which is nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Royal source
Can you
says.
share the screen with me, please, sir?
Oh, can you not see the screen? See, this is something we probably should have.
Should have
ironed.
covered in pre-show. That's what happens
Pre-show.
when you start 30 minutes early.
Yeah, I know.
It's off putting.
It really is. Prince
So
of
what are
Wales.
protocols?
Prince of Wales will not accept suitcases of cash in the future. Royal source says. Palace briefing comes days after the Sunday Times revealed the heir to the throne accepted millions in cash from former Qatari Prime Minister HBJ. Green.
Nice, Gary.
Now, surely a couple of red flags, if we can.
Just a couple.
So just a couple. So once again, like obviously bit of a catch up. Prince Charles, yeah, man, I'll take that suitcase off you. Now, when was the last time you saw a royal person carrying their own luggage?
Good question.
To be fair, now it's
It's
a
all
bit
right,
stuff.
mate. I've got it. Gets it out of the fucking overhead compartment. Nah, mate, she was all right. Don't worry about it. Hey, I've still got a little bit of life in the old fella yet, huh? And then he shadow boxes with him.
Yeah. Honest question, like fucking no jokes. What would the Qataris be paying off the royal family for?
Well, that's a good question. They say, oh, well, of course, Green, it's for a charity. So
Nice, Gary.
Charity is okay.
charity payment, yeah.
Puff pieces,
Yep.
puppies and babies.
Yep. It's a charity cash donation. And you'll be pleased to know, Greeno, he is quoted as saying, quote, it won't happen again. So that's a dead set quote. It's a legitimate
good to
quote.
know.
It won't happen
Good to know.
again. I have another question for you, Greeno, and it's, the former Qatari Prime Minister, HBJ, Greeno.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would have thought that the acronyms are reserved for the memorable one, like JFK, you know what I mean? LBJ.
Yeah.
That kind of HBJ. Now, who is HBJ, the former Qatari Prime Minister, Greeno? Can you tell me?
It seems to escape my mind, unfortunately, sir.
Escapes your mind. I don't know how many people out of 100 could tell you, unless we were in Qatar, maybe. Then the scales might be lifted. So I don't know if he's earned HBJ notoriety yet. I don't think that's good reporting. But anyway, I think that's the main thing to worry about here is whether or not
out of that story
HBJ
is the acronyms. Yeah.
Now, do not pay attention to the suitcases full of cash being handed over. You know what would have been better, Greeno, more befitting of the world that we live in would have just been like sacks with dollar signs on it. Just like cartoon style, just hand it over to him. Why not? Because a suitcase is number 2 on the level of, illicit payment delivery system, isn't it? Like when you think about it. How else are you going to, there's 2 ways that Hollywood depicts people taking money. It's 1, a big sack full of cash with a dollar sign on it, or 2, a suitcase. That, you slam it on the table and open it up and there's hundreds of millions of dollars there in bills and they pick it up and they flick through the money, Greeno, and put it back and lock it up, don't they? Sometimes they handcuff it to their wrist, Greeno.
They handcuff it to their wrist. I guarantee Prince Charles has had many a suitcase handcuffed to his wrist over the years. Are we thinking there might be some gear involved, perhaps?
A little snip. Do you reckon what kind of gear would Charles get? You reckon?
It'd be the high quality stuff. Whatever's fucking top of the pops is what Prince Charles.
Whatever's keeping him alive. That's I reckon that's what he's on. He's probably on his mother's estrogen medicine.
Could be.
That's keeping her kicking.
He does live on money though. So other people's money. So he's not credit to him, Charles. He'll take anyone's money that he hasn't earned.
Just hand it over into a suitcase and you'll be fine.
The English taxpayer, the Qataris, are just trying to get in on the point of royalty, where you just hand over big fatfuls of cash to the royal family. They're not actually fucking doing anything to earn it, other than being part of a bloodline.
I have heard, Greeno, the whisper is, there's people who are royal watchers. Of course, we've got contacts here at the show, and I know a couple of people who work as royal watchers in the UK for the UK tabloids, Greeno. And they have relayed to me that now that Prince Charles, the heir to the throne, has come out and said, look, we're not going to do the suitcases full of cash in the hotel lobbies anymore. That's out.
Not anymore. Okay. Direct debit only forward.
No. Even better than that, Greeno. We're not going to do the suitcases full of cash. So what we are going to do is now a black van that's going to pull up out the front of the palace at, say, 2 a.m, and men in balaclavas are going to take out and just start unloading, frozen vacuum-packed packets full of money instead. Maybe $1 million a block,
Yeah.
And they'll just unload it in there and then just roll it right into the vault downstairs. That's what we're going to do instead.
Cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
Could they just transfer some Bitcoin to Charles, perhaps?
Bitcoin. Do you reckon Charles is in the Bitcoin?
Well, the current value, perhaps. He could buy a whole bunch with that suitcase.
Yeah, that's true. Bitcoin's an interesting study because for 10 years or so it was kind of growing and thriving and had dips and ups and downs and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, all the governments just turned around and said, oh, yeah, that Bitcoin, we're going to just have to start taxing that. I'm sorry. We're going to have to start coming after your details. Sorry about that, everyone.
Well, it also happened to coincide
with Bitcoin. Their fingers in the pie.
Well, it's a little bit of that, but it happened to coincide, the downfall of Bitcoin happened to coincide exactly at the point where the media were really publicizing Bitcoin and how people should get in.
Buy in now.
Maybe there might have been a kind of tip off that, hey, this thing's about to tank. Yeah. And the only way the people that had the Bitcoin, i.e. the rich fuckers, could not lose cash on the deal was to convince a whole bunch of suckers to buy the Bitcoin before them so they could offload it.
But Greeno, they said there was a boom happening.
Now, of course they said
on the television.
Because the rich fuckers need to offload the Bitcoin because it's about to tank.
And then when it does tank, then who has the money then to rebuy back into the market then?
The rich fuckers that just sold it at the high premium to the poor fuckers that just lost a whole bunch on the Bitcoin.
That doesn't sound right. I don't know about that.
It's interesting that it's also a currency that isn't regulated.
Yes. Yeah.
That happened to just magically
Well, they are
be
stepping in now.
the flavour of the town and then tank dramatically shortly after small-time investors jump
The
on board.
The writing was on the wall. I remember maybe 3-4 years ago, I was, keeping an eye on a story, Greeno, because at the time, the majority of people, like the biggest single block of people who had Bitcoin at the time were in South Korea, right? Because that's where it really boomed initially. And I think it was something like 40% of users or maybe 60% of users, something like that, were still based in Korea, the Bitcoin owners, okay? And the Korean government at the time, don't ask me who it was, but they came out and passed a law and said, look, all the Bitcoin holdings are now going to be, we're now going to be able to see it, and we need visibility, and we need you to report it, and we're going to regulate it, and what have you. And no one really paid attention to it outside of, those kinds of circles. And it was like, well, this is the first step now, because once one government's allowed to do something, it doesn't really matter what country you're in. They all look at each other and go, oh, is that what they're doing over there? All right, we'll figure a way out. We'll do the same thing. And then, of course, they all started falling like dominoes. And now they can't get enough of the Bitcoin. Remember a couple of years ago, all the governments were like, oh, that's crazy, silly money. That's nothing. We don't want anything to do with that. And now all of a sudden they're buying in.
Well, they've got to make some money.
Got to buy in. Got to take your slice of the pie.
Exactly. That's how life works.
Yep.
Let's skip the first ad break so we can get to a tight hour.
Nice, Gary.
We had a disabled hot toss demo. It doesn't happen very often. We kind of we're trying to keep all the quality here. We're not bigoted when it comes to our hot toss. We'll take any hot toss we can get.
When you sent this through, I kind of looked at it and I had two questions, one word each. Who and what? That was like, who and what? What is this?
So,
I don't know what's going on.
So this is in relation to Dylan Alcott, who's the current Australian of the Year.
Okay.
In case you're asking who, he's he won the Grand Slam in the wheelchair tennis last year.
Nice.
He's an Australian icon. Has his own TV show. Good
he has a
dude,
TV
American.
show, does he? See, I don't really watch a lot of TV.
That's fine. And also, good Larry dude retired kind of after he won the Australian Open this year.
Okay.
So you're going to hang up the wheelchair and kind of move on. But this came across yesterday after I put together the rundown. I'm like, well, it's fucking, if there's some late hot toss off the press, which doesn't happen very often, we need to do it. It says Dylan Alcott uses sex toy on girlfriend at restaurant in the Herald Sun. Now, this is firstly hot toss, definitely. Secondly, this is hero behavior.
Thirdly, this is journalism.
Thirdly, this is apparently, in inverted commas, journalism. Fourthly, it got me thinking, what restaurant? Because I think we need some context here. Like, if
it was a theme restaurant? It was Fist Your Girlfriend night.
Exactly.
Down at Rocco's.
If you're at Dracula's on the Gold Coast, fucking anything goes.
Is it really? Does Dracula? I've been to Dracula's on the Gold Coast.
So
I don't remember a pro fisting policy being on the dress code. Did you bring a dildo? Yes or no? I would like a seat in the non-dildo section, please. I bought my children. That's okay. Is fisting still allowed there? Yes, it is. So that's okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that policy.
I just remember there was a lot of dress up. There was it was a theater restaurant, so maybe there might have been some S&M. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. They're up for a good time.
Yeah.
If anyone's up for a good time, bit of dildo action while you're waiting for your entree.
Someone we knew, Greeno, who we won't mention their name, but someone we knew used to work there, by the way, as one of the performers. Right. Used to walk around breathing fire and shit.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I went there after, it was after he finished working there, but at the same time, it was a good time. It was good. But once again, can't remember many sex toys being bought out.
No. I didn't ask maybe for the right menu items.
Once again, why is it? Firstly, is there footage? Have we verified this?
Well, they say fans after a video emerged, but I haven't seen the video.
I haven't seen the video.
No, I didn't look for it.
So what are we up to? Thought 6 would be if there is a video, can Dylan sell it on OnlyFans?
Well, not if it's already out there. Then it's too late. The horse is bolted.
You've got to copyright it.
You got to copyright it and take it back and then sell it.
Take it back. 100%. And seventhly, like, who gives a fuck? Like, credit, like, don't get me wrong, if I could get away with, using the sex toy on my partner at his age as a celebrity, fucking go for it.
Yeah.
Did anyone around they interrupt anyone else? Now, once again, if there's kiddies in the vicinity and they can see it, inappropriate. But if this was kind of like a private thing and someone's like, hey man, is he fucking just going to town there, having a good old time?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let's see what the people say, Greeno.
We need a Stefan's poll.
We do, yeah. But Stefan, no one's listening, so it's not going to happen.
Fair enough.
So let's have a look in the comments here and see. Well, let's see what the people are saying in the comments, Greeno. We can get an idea. What are the punters saying out there? This one says, if it's between 2 or more consenting adults in an appropriate setting, it's no one's business. Now, this person says, I agree. This person says, I agree. Not sure the other restaurant patrons consented, though.
Nice, Gary.
Yeah, people are saying 2 consenting adults use discreet toy in a restaurant. It's okay. So it's interesting, the debates that people have now, right? Because it's no one's disagreeing that there is or is not a line. Everyone agrees that there is a line. What they don't agree on is where the line is. And that's the discussion that people are constantly having. So now apparently it's okay. Look, if the toy is discreet, you can in fact, fuck your girlfriend or your partner or whatever with a toy in a crowded restaurant, as long as the toy is discreet and you try not to get caught. That's allowable. That's fine now, So I put it to you though, isn't the whole point of these exercises, it's you get off on the thrill of it, right? Of doing stuff in a public place.
Yeah, a public place.
So now if it becomes socially acceptable, how are you going to get your thrill? What's the next level up from that? Is it just, fucking her on the table when the salad comes out? Like, is that what you do next? And then in 10 years, everyone will be going, well, as long as it's in a dark restaurant and there aren't too many kids in there and it's between 2 consenting adults, I guess that's fine. Then we'll have to up the ante again, Greeno.
It's a fair point. Like, I also think venue plays a point in this argument. So, like, how many blowjobs have been performed in the backseat of a movie theater?
Plenty. Well, how many in crowded restaurants where if the table has a big tablecloth, Greeno? that would have happened.
Now, I have heard tales of some handwork during restaurant patronage throughout the course of the years.
Yes.
It happens.
It does happen. It's out there.
Like you pointed out.
The punters are doing it, Greeno. They're into it.
The punters are doing it. It just happens this guy is a celebrity. So, like, fucking fair play. Like, is it appropriate? Probably not, but that's kind of the point, isn't it? Like, it is the thrill and the excitement of fooling around, doing something you're not meant to do. Look, no one else is seeing it. Well, obviously someone saw it because there was a film of it, but like, once again, they're not up on the table. They're not interrupting someone's entree. No. If they did it on someone else's table, awkward.
Yes. Or at the cashier when you're paying, when you leave.
Yeah, just like up front, just like fistful. Like we don't want that. Yeah.
Maybe at that little window where the chefs put the dinner plate screen over when they're sending the food out, just up on there. That might be a little weird.
Yeah, that's a bit awkward.
Yeah. Look, here's my thing. Do I give a fuck about this? No, not in the slightest. If I was there and I had like a kid running around or something, and it, like, let's say the next day I found out it happened on the table next to me, would I be kind of pissed? Probably, Probably. But I mean, at the end of the day, it'd be like, I would say, did you see anything or notice anything? And if they're no, I'd be like, sweet. We're like, we're fucking all right. We got out of that one.
Gary.
And then I would directly go back to not caring again.
Exactly.
In these situations, people are going to do this shit, and all the best that you can hope for is to try to shield your little clan from it as best as you can. But it's going to happen out there, and there's not much you can do about it, right?
Where's the line for inappropriateness, though? Like,
this is what we were saying. Like, where does it end?
Right? Yeah. No. Like, let's go reverse.
Okay.
So let's take something that seems
let's deconstruct it. Yeah.
No, let's think like something that's innocent, because, like, we're not going to, deal with some sort of hardcore shit. But what I'm saying is, like, is putting your foot on someone else's crutch under the dinner table and rubbing it in the same realm. Like, where is the line drawn on appropriateness on the reverse standpoint? Because Like, obviously, you're still touching someone's genitals. You're doing a movie thing. Like, I've had my hand on my wife's thigh inside a movie cinema. May have touched some vag unintentionally or intentional
vagage.
But your hand just go there. It's on the thigh. Touching stuff, is that inappropriate? Like, it's interesting to think.
Depends. Like, if you
probably fall into the inappropriate bucket.
I would say if you had your hand on her thigh and you might have accidentally touched vag, it's probably okay unless she had like one leg up on the back of the seat.
Different, yeah, 100%.
Completely different scenario.
Now, let's also.
It's okay. It's okay. The school children are sitting in the 3 rows up front. It doesn't matter.
They're fine. Now let's also deep dive. Let's say, fucking for argument's sake. Everything's still covered, but there's a butt plug involved. Inappropriate.
At which point is the butt plug involved? At the beginning or the end?
No, throughout. So at the dinner, there's no visibility of it.
Okay.
The butt plug is in.
All day? You have to have it in there all day?
Well, just before the
What if
restaurant,
it's like a 2-hour drive to the place? Now, do you sit with it the whole way, or do you do you walk in there, shake everyone's hand and go, look, I just got to go, to the toilet. I'll be right back. You slip the butt plug in. Because that would be more weird, though, wouldn't it?
But there's levels of appropriateness when it comes to the sex toy.
Okay,
like,
I'm just trying to figure out, because I don't want to.
Doesn't matter about timing. Like, the butt plug's in there. What I'm saying,
I don't want to get it wrong if I'm doing.
I'm just checking. I'm saying, let's say it's in in the car park.
Right.
In the car park, it's like, there we go. We're good to go.
Up the butt.
Let's go for some dinner.
Okay.
Because this is kind of like it's our bag. We like a butt plug in while we're doing dinner.
Yep. Of course, that's how we roll.
That's how we roll. Yeah. But then, so technically, they're using a sex toy, but no one can see it. Now, is that appropriate or inappropriate in a meal setting?
Well, it's like if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, does it make a sound, Greeno?
Fucking oath, it's the butt plug that no one hears.
If you finger your girlfriend at a, at a Hungry Jack's.
Hungry Jack's, well, that's different.
All right. If you finger your girlfriend at a Hungry Jack's while she's eating onion rings. I feel like
that matters.
And nobody notices, did it really happen, Greeno?
It really happened, yeah. Now, it depends. Is it in the kids' play area? Is it outside? Is it inside? Yep.
Is it in the office or the loading dock? Is it in the
class of fun house? Are you behind the counter? It's fucking, like, once again, all scenario. Also, so what we've established is, sometimes yay, sometimes nay.
Sometimes.
When it comes to,
Yeah, I think you have to be smart enough to make the choice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, Damo, based on how the show's gone thus far, I think I've answered this question for the next segment.
Okay.
Podcast deals.
I
saw this show.
How appropriate.
At the course this week. Now, I saw that who the fuck got podcast deals? Nikki Osborne and Peter Hellier got podcast deals.
Yeah.
And now, firstly, I don't know who's handing out these podcast deals. That was my first thought. My second thought was, how the fuck are these guys getting podcast deals? Now,
well, I've got good news for you, Greeno. It's not as bad as you think. Now, this was tweeted out by a checkmarked account, Variety Australia, which only has 174 followers, by the way. So it's the new home for entertainment news, business.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and it got 3 likes and 1 retweet, this story about Clementine Ford and Peter Hellier getting new podcast deals. And I would just like to say that my tweet retweeting this show that literally nobody is watching, where I said nothing but come say hi, also has, Greeno, 3 likes and 1 retweet. Look at that. So we are clearly deserving of a paid podcast deal.
Paid podcast deal.
Based on these numbers here. Now, it's not me saying that. You can't argue with the numbers, Greeno. The stats are there.
Give yourself a stat man, sir.
A nice stat.
I'm a stat man. Right. Now, fucking, I just wanted to point out, I've kind of realized that podcasts have been bastardized by commercial aspects yet again. Podcast was the video podcast was the fact that anyone could get on there, do their podcast, put it out there to the world, and it was the ability of saying, hey, those corporate media that won't give any of us radio jobs, like we've got our voice. People can come in, and people still can, and that's fine. Yeah. We still get our voice out there. We still get to promote our show any which way we want. We get to
play our little thing, and nobody cares. Everyone leaves us alone, literally. So it's beautiful.
The problem is that now the people that were already getting the bullshit radio jobs they didn't deserve are now getting podcast deals.
So they're now moving So see how they were all kind of these people who were like mainstream radio, mainstream newspaper, mainstream television of say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They used
When
to
we started the
laugh.
show.
They used to laugh at podcasts. And do you remember when I can't remember who the personality was, someone who was a professional in radio actually had a crack at you about doing community radio, like, and volunteering and stuff. Do you remember that? I can't remember who it was.
I can't remember it, yeah.
Yeah, but you remember the interaction? It was like, actually, I'm fucking volunteering at radio, mate. Thanks for asking. Because he was like, what the fuck do you know? And he's like,
Yeah,
like,
I know. I do remember that interaction. I can't remember who the fuck it was. That's right. Like, yeah, someone's been a dick about it.
So they are dicks,
I've been there to
right?
apologise, yeah.
I remember an interaction with, a relatively famous kind of, Sydney Morning Herald level kind of lefty on Sky back in the day, Greeno. Had an interaction with her on Twitter. She, because I asked something like, it was a question about like responsibility or something or pregnancy, and she accused me of being a sexist, like straight out of the gate, Greeno.
Well, press the button. Press the button.
Straight to sexist. Like that's a sexist.
Press the button, sir. Yeah. Misogynist and sexist and misogynist.
And I was nothing but pleasant to this woman, I swear to God, because, maybe needling a little bit, but in a purely pleasant way. And I was like, oh, well, you jumped straight to sexist then. That's not very nice. And she said something like, oh, fucking, she had a crack at my, my bio or something. And I was like, wow, you've really gone. Now, this was a celebrity, you know what I mean? Like a political news kind of lefty commentator celebrity who just went right off the rails. And then this was, like I said, like kind of 7-8 years ago, maybe. And then I was like, wow, look at this fucking chick go right off the fucking cliff, Greeno, with like something so innocent as an innocent question. It was like, you sexist idiot. And I was like, holy shit. And then I went to show someone, I don't know, a couple of hours later, and I said, have a look at this crazy fucking bitch off Sky News. Would you look at this? And she went and deleted them all, except for the one where I was saying to her, that's not very nice, Greeno, because she couldn't delete my shit.
Nice, Gary.
So she deleted all evidence except for the one where I'm going to her. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. And so, we've had Mark Levy, haven't we? The situation with Mark Levy with the sock accounts. Yeah. So there's a lot of kind of, I'm the best. But again, I would just repeat, this tweet has 3 likes, 1 retweet. Come say hi to the starting block, 3 likes, 1 retweet, Greeno. So we're right on a par.
We're on par. Happy days.
Yep.
We're right around the corner from the podcast deal. I can sense it. Look, we'll go to a break in a sec.
Okay.
I should point out BE is on a boys trip at the moment.
Boys trip. What's it for? What are they celebrating? I don't know.
It's Punters Club. So they earned a bunch of money this year and they spend it. They go on a boys trip to horse races, I guess.
Nice, Gary.
Waste the money they just earned. It's good times.
That's what you do. That's what you do with one money, isn't it? You fucking you lose it. That's
you waste it.
That's the aim
you spend
of it.
Yeah. Like it's not earned money.
So
it's
true.
Free money. So
that's
you
right.
buy stupid shit with it.
That's why we're the people we are. You see, because it's like that's the way we look at it. Some people will be like, no, it goes straight into the bank. But it's like, no, I won this, so it's free. I can do whatever I want.
Free money. Yeah, the bank's got enough of my money. It's fine. Like, that's earned money. That's Bill's money.
As soon as we get it, we got to get rid of it again.
It's play money. 100%.
Play money. Like any money really is play money when you're paying fucking $80, to put, to fill up your fucking lawnmower. Great.
100% true. I got a bit of a kick in the dick earlier today. I was doing my banking before the show.
Oh no!
And just doing some transfers.
Were you trying to get in the mood of like I want to hang myself from the garage door, like before the show? I was just doing the finances before I'd come on and have a laugh.
No. Like, I'm an accountant, mate. I like doing that shit. I do all my shit. I need to get my shit in order before the weekend's done, so that I don't have to worry about it tomorrow. So just moving some money around from accounts, moving to where it needs to go to pay certain bills. And I looked, and I bought something during the week, and I thought it cost X amount of dollars. I'm like, fucking look, it's probably a little bit more than I'd like to spend on this item, but it's fine. I don't buy many things for myself, and I'm like, look, I'm going to treat myself this week. I only spend like $200. Like, not fucking stupid money again. Yep. It's not too much. But then I looked at my bank and I'm like, where the fuck did that money go? Forgot that I thought what I was purchasing was Australian dollars. No. I forgot about currency conversion, and the cost of the US dollar compared to the Australian dollar meant Reno just fucking blew $400 on something he thought he cost $200.
Nice, Gary!
I'm like, you motherfuckers. Normally,
What is the conversion rate now? It must be horrific.
It was almost 2 to 1, dude. It's fucking horrible.
So what? We're at 50 cents?
Something like that. Like,
Wow.
what did it come out as? It wasn't that bad. It was 170 to the dollar or something like that. The bill was a lot more than what I fucking expected to pay. And then the dicks at the bank then hit me with a fucking currency conversion fee.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's getting
I'm
a
like,
fee
well,
off everyone
what do you
these
mean?
days.
$11 because you converted something to charge me 1.7 more than what I thought I was going to pay. Yeah. But they never got that at checkout. Normally, if you're like an Amazon, whatever, it's like, hey, this is $100 Australian dollars. You're about to pay 170. And I'm like, okay, I understand I'm paying 170. This didn't say it. I just assumed I was paying that dollar value. No, bank account, fucking 400. I'm like, you dick.
I tip my hat to the bankers.
I'll give you a dick. You dick.
I give a tip of the hat to the bankers. You know why? Because after many decades, they have successfully programmed people to the point where they expect so many fees, they no longer question any new fees. And I think that is generally true because there are so many fees and fees and fees and fees. And, you know, imagine the first time they introduced a fee back in, like, let's say the 1920s, Greeno, when they were banking, you know, Depression era kind of stuff. And imagine the first fee they brought in and they said, look, we just want to inform you that we have now got an account holder's fee. And I'll be like, well, what's that? And I'll be like, oh, well, that's a fee you pay to bank with us. And it's like, well, hang on, I can take my money out and go down the road. And then the bank down the road says, actually, we're also introducing an account holder's fee.
Fee.
Yeah. So, you know, you can come to us. We'd love the company. Oh, look, there's another bank down the road. I'll go. No, I'm saying, actually, sorry, we don't have an account holder's fee, but we do have double withdrawal fees in order to make up for not having the account holder's fee. At first, it would have been a shock to the system. Now we have like hundreds and hundreds of fees and fees and fees for everything. Everyone is charging everyone everything right now. Everyone and you know what, that looks to me like the death throes of a society, Greeno. It looks like the crows fighting over the scraps, the morsels of meat left in the rib cage of the fucking pirates on the ship floating in the middle of nowhere. You know? Like everyone's just trying to get the last dollar they can out of everybody else. Get what they can before it all goes tits up. That's what it looks like.
That seems like a perfect time to go to a break.
Oh, okay. Just contemplate.
Do you like your novelty comedy songs organic? Handmade with painstaking care, put into every note? Well, look no further than Irrational Times. Using only the finest instruments to create an experience that your ears will thank you for later, Irrational Times attempts to elevate the whimsy to a desirable level. New songs and sketches every week, so check it out.
There's a place that we can go to watch old things. All the warm, fuzzy member berries it brings. It's a special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Campy old movies and old cartoons. We hope to see you over there very soon. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. When we were kids and there wasn't any school, we'd sit and watch all the best cartoons, eating cereal until it was noon. We never thought that 30 years later it'd still be cool. Saturday night and cheesy movies, the ones that used to show us boobies. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy.
now with less than 3% sport content. It's the starting block on TAVshow.com.
Yes, welcome back to the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Elon. What's happening? Is it still happening? Is he still buying it? What's going on?
Elon's out, mate. Elon's done. He's
done.
they're looking for new buyers, I guess.
Someone else will be out there. Bill Gates instead, everyone. That'll be nice.
Yeah, why not?
Bill Gates announces, no, it'll just be Google. Google announces they're buying Twitter. And everyone will go,
Twitter.
oh, good. This will fix everything.
Nice.
Yeah, this will be great.
That'll be better. Yeah. Wouldn't the world be a better place if Google was even bigger and more powerful, Greeno?
It's not enough. Not enough Google things, conversations and whatnot. But we need more of it. Let's get into the Twitter chat.
Don't you think it's funny how, like, 5 years ago, remember you would hear me talking about things like, like, say, covering the camera on your laptop or blocking the phone mic and stuff like that because you don't know what's going on. And I just find, and I'm sure you've noticed too, more and more and more people now say shit like, when I have a conversation around my phone, next thing I know, I'm scrolling through Facebook. Like, let's just say you're talking to your mate about fucking caravans or something. You scroll through Facebook 10 minutes later, and then there's all this advertising about fucking caravans.
Nice,
And you know what I do? I'm such a prick. I don't say a fucking word. I just smile and go, that's weird. That's so strange.
I like to play games with the listening machine and just throw out random things or stuff I'm not interested in.
Yes, exactly. I recommend to people always have 2 windows open on your personal computer at all times. Number 1, Christian baking. So you need to, how to do a good Christian baking cake with all the right ingredients and the fair amount of respect to the faith. And then on the other tab, the filthiest tranny porn you can find, Greeno. And you have those, what you do is you have those 2 things open at all times and just auto refresh them. And then, and then I like to throw it down the gauntlet, Greeno. It's like, track that, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So tell me what you think of me now. What's my personality now? Figure it out.
Spot on.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the devil and the angel on both shoulders.
That's right. Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Spot on.
Yep.
Damo, I want to talk. Fucking cricket's going on for some random reason.
No, it was going on. Now it's over.
We
won.
Playing a fucking test match in Sri Lanka.
We won. I was thinking about tuning in. I was nearly going to put money on the draw, Greeno, at $8. I thought that's tasty in the subcontinent. $8.
Thank God you didn't. It was over in 2 days.
2 days. 140 overs it was, apparently.
Didn't even get through 2 full days. 140. Fuck. But he's a stat man for you, sir. Pat Cummins, undefeated as test captain. We were questioning because everyone's like, you can't have a bowler as test captain. Like, fuck, it's not going to work. About Pat got the coach sacked.
Yep.
It's like, fuck it, don't like him. Get rid of JL.
Fuck him off.
And everyone's like, well, what do you mean? Fucking, we can't get rid of JL. Fucking, he's an Aussie. He's not the icon. He bought.
That would be un-Australian, mate.
He brought pride back to the bag. Grief, Christ's sake. He fixed this broken shit.
Who is the coach now?
Andrew McDonald.
Andrew McDonald. Okay. When did he take over?
Oh, literally like this test.
Tour? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, he filled in for JL in the last when we were playing.
Yeah.
Who did we play? Was it Bangers before? Where have we played before this in the subcontinent?
Well, again, when we play away, it's hard for me to keep track because that's footy season here.
Who cares? Exactly. Fucking cricket season's done. Let's move on. So everyone's like, oh, this is no good. Fucking Pat's no good. We can't have that. He's undefeated. 8 tests, 5 wins, 3 draws. Missed the Adelaide Ashes because he had COVID. That's the fucking man.
Yep.
Cap call Pat. This is also the first time back-to-back test wins for Australia in Asia since 2006 when we beat Bangladesh back-to-back.
And Bangladesh, as far as I'm concerned, in 2006, that doesn't count. It's like Jason Gillespie's fucking double ton.
201. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't count, mate. I'm sorry. It doesn't count. Yeah, it's not fair.
It's great, though. It's good. They played 28 tests in between for only 3 wins in Asia. Yeah. So that goes to show that's pretty impressive because they haven't been playing against shit teams.
The Ashes is on then, isn't it? In the UK, Greeno, in England, it's fucking on like Donkey Kong, isn't it? Now at this point.
With that said, though,
the confidence they'll get out of this, they should be storming into England next year.
But Travis Head took 4 for 10 in the second innings, so over 2.5 overs. It's kind of a fake result.
I get it, but it's all. But they're supposed to be the best spinners in the world over there, though, too. You know what I mean? So
Travis Head, mate.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's a part-timer. So, and it's all about, I reckon it's all about it's about knocking over results, though. That's how you build momentum and build confidence. Doesn't matter how you get it. If they win another 5 on the trot, they're not going to think about this one. You know, that's not going to matter. But this one will lead into the next one, into the next one. And how many tests do they have before they get to England again? Can't be too many, can it?
I think it's literally this series, and then it's the Ashes, right?
And then it's the Ashes back on. They could be fucking storming into England. Let's fucking go. What
I'm liking is we've got our core now. Like, we know our team. Like, Aussie, fucking tip of the hat, nice Gary Osman.
Fucking oath. He's the Kadich of this era, Greeno, the second chance kid.
Talk about the genius of Justin Langer. Refused to pick Usman until he had fucking no choice because of injuries and whatnot.
And then he come out and scored 2 tons back to back.
Since coming back, he's averaging 117 as opener.
Nice, Gary.
Good on you, JL.
In Asia, in the worst possible batting conditions as well.
Yeah.
Fucking is averaging over 100. Like,
which, you know, he is the fucking the pinch hitter for that part of the world, though, isn't he, for the Australian team? He has been for a long time anyway.
But he did it in Australia as well. Like, good on him.
Yeah, fucking so he's locked in now. So
but Aussie's locked in to open. Davey.
You got to give him one more, you know, because I don't think Jimmy's going to be bowling, mate.
And unless Will Pekowski's fit, like, you got to fucking Davey will be there till he wants to retire. Then we've got Manus. Manus is fine.
Well, hang on. Let's talk about Dave Warner for a minute here. Now, what if, say, the next we're not will Broad and Anderson be wheeled out for that one last time, that next Ashes series? I think they might be. And if they are, I'm sorry, if they are, there is a discussion about dropping David Warner before we even get there. Like, no.
I agree.
It has to be on the table. Yeah. Yeah, Bukowski's not playing, though. He hasn't played enough.
But by the time we get to the Ashes, he'll be all right. He'll be okay.
You reckon you throw him in? You throw him into the fucking cauldron in the Ashes debut.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. No, debut. He's played for Australia before.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I know. I keep forgetting that though because it was so fucking.
It was 2 summers ago.
Yeah,
2 summers ago, and then he kept having these concussions. Then we had COVID and whatnot. Just
stunted his career. It's not fair when young guys who have the skill that he does. He was. You know, he's clearly going to be a good player if he gets a run at it. It's not fair when they don't get a run at it, you know?
The other thing as well, we still had the English county season as well. So there's a bunch of Aussies that go over there, score a whole bunch of runs, and like we'll do what we did with Chris Rogers. Remember Chris Rogers? That's how we got his start. Yeah. Because he was over there in England scoring billions. And I'm like,
but he was doing it for 10 years though, Greeno. That's the difference.
But they'll find an Aussie over there and they'll be like, let's maybe this guy a shot. And that's what happened with Manus. Manus was killing it over there. And was like, well, he averages 30 in Sheffield Shield. And like, no, he's all right in English conditions. Came in for Smitty when he got the concussion and fucking kicked ass. And next thing we know, Manus is the best cricketer in the world.
Yeah. The Chris Rogers one I remember because everyone at the time was like, oh, what's he going to do? Get a little fucking niggly little 30, 35 or something. But yeah. Actually, for us at the time in England, 35 was like a double ton.
100%
we were getting knocked over embarrassingly, and then he came in and added just a little tiny bit of backbone to the fucking batting. All of a sudden, balls started growing in the rest of the batting lineup, and they started playing more freely. Greeno started putting them on the back foot sometimes. Remember when they came out here the first series at home with Chris Rogers opening the order? Didn't we fucking wipe them? I think that series. Chris Rogers scored tons left, right, and centre.
Yeah, that was India.
India.
We were at that game. That was the first New Year's game we went to.
That's right. Nice.
Davey scored a ton. Chris Rogers scored 90.
Just on fire.
All in a day. Well, that was pretty good.
That's a good day's cricket.
And Chris Rogers scored 3 tons throughout the course of that series. Yeah. So, there we go. But you know what? Like, I think our lineup's pretty set now. Let's then we go ahead. We got Green. We're still question marks over Carey as keeper, and then we know our
What about Green's batting? What's your feeling still on? Do you still persist, you know?
He's got man of the match, 77 in shitty conditions. Like, it's fine. Once you know,
I know, but it's a Nick Maddinson, Greeno, 77. Now that's going to be concerning the cricket gods.
No, well, here's the thing. Like he's
Nick Maddinson, 77, Greeno.
He's been dismissed in the 70s like a bunch of times. He hasn't been able to convert a ton yet. But you got to remember, this kid's still only 22.
Yeah, I know.
So
he knows how to score tons. He scored a ton of tons in the grade below.
100% he has.
But
So,
the thing is, though, we're all kind of on the edge of our seat because we don't want him to be one of those players that's too good for the level below, but not good enough for the top level. But it's kind of everyone's like waiting, going, "Oh, come on, be good enough, you know," because we need him because he's a fucking. If he is good enough, he's going to be very good.
It's just that over expectation of the kid, right? He's coming in at 6, he's
so
all rounder.
Yeah.
If you're getting 70,
the all-rounder, you have so much pressure on you because if the batsmen don't take any wickets, no one gives a fuck. And if the bowlers don't score any runs, no one gives a fuck. But if you're the all-rounder, you're supposed to do both. And that's a lot of weight to carry for the young guy. Usually the best all-rounders in world cricket, Greeno, have always been the experienced ones. Jacques Callas, fucking Shane Watson when he was doing his all-rounder, right? Tom Moody was almost a fucking all-rounder in one-day cricket at one point.
He's an all-rounder. Tom Moody was always an all-rounder.
Right, so but when was he at his best? Like 35? Daryl Lehman, Greeno, was 35.
Off spin, so that doesn't count.
Off spin doesn't count. But he was an all-rounder in one-day cricket. Yeah. They're all the best. It's a position that belongs to someone who's got a cool head and experience because you have to handle both jobs at the same time. It's not something. He's 22 years old and he's doing it.
Still averaging like 35, 40 in Test cricket. If you're getting that out of your all-rounder, man, that's fucking happy days.
Oh, I remember saying to you, like back early days, like when he was taking wickets. Remember, I'm like, look, if he keeps taking 5 wickets in innings, who gives a fuck if he scores 10 runs? Honestly, like it doesn't matter. The way he's bowling, it's just that's good enough to be in the team just as a bowler. So if you can nail one down, then he's in. But our bowling stocks are pretty, chock-a-block, aren't they? Still,
we got plenty.
We've got plenty of quicks. Yeah,
we got fucking a whole bunch of guys that probably be starting pacemen for most other countries.
Yep. I still think Jackson Bird would be playing for England if he was.
Jackson Bird would literally be Jimmy Anderson if he played.
He'd be his understudy. Yeah, he would have replaced Anderson by now. He's that good.
Well, that's the thing. He would have taken like 600 Test wickets and just still been playing at 38 years of age if he was playing for England. Yep. But Australia, there's just too many good basemen in front of him, and Jackson Bird ends up being like he still played Test cricket and took a bunch of wickets, but I mean, just ends up being one of the greatest.
We forget about players like James Pattinson. When I see James Pattinson playing the Big Bash, I'm like, he's still a pretty fucking good bowler, It's
good, just not healthy, mate.
Yeah, he just can't get good for the tests. Yeah, but he wouldn't get his way back in now anyway, though. That's the thing.
No, he was always on the fringes. When he was fit, they were like, well, it was the foursome of bowlers was meant to be Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins, Pattinson. Yeah. And they're like, we're just going to rotate those 4. And we had like one series where we were able to do that. And we're like, we're just going to rotate those 4 boys. Yeah. And that was our dream lineup because we're like, this is good. And then Pattinson got injured. And we're like, all right, well, back to where we were. Yeah. Back to status quo, if you will.
Yep.
I like how we were complaining about how it's cricket season, we don't give a fuck, it's footy, and we just spent 12 minutes talking about cricket.
Nice, Gary.
And not even like current cricket. We're talking about Ashes that haven't happened yet. Ashes that happened 6 years ago.
It's all about the Ashes, really, isn't it? Let's be honest here.
It really is. Yep. Let's do a quick couple of baseball stat mans if we can, sir.
Okay.
I'm a stat man.
Let's put a stat man and a fucking nice Gary. Mark Appel, 30 years of age, 349 days, is the oldest number 1 draft pick at the time of his MLB debut.
Holy shit. Nice, Gary. 30-year-old number 1 draft pick. How the fuck does that happen?
So what happened is about 8-9 years ago, he was drafted by the Astros.
Yeah.
And they're like, they drafted him as number 1, pick number 1. And they're like, we're not happy. Like, they didn't want to sign him.
Wait, 8-9, did you say 8-9 years ago?
Yeah.
So the draft is for like 21-year-olds in the States, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because here in Australia, the AFL draft, it's like you can draft a 17-year-old kid, 18-year-old kid.
You can draft these guys 16, 17, whatever you want.
Oh, right.
But those guys, like, baseball's a different game. Like
they get them out of college and shit, don't they?
Yeah, like you can sign a high school pitcher or a high school hitter, but they're going to take longer to get up to MLB level. Right. So you'd rather use a higher draft pick on a college player. Right. So this guy was drafted number 1 overall, didn't end up panning out with Houston, never played a game. Quit the game for a little bit, and then he's like, I still kind of love it. Like, I want to come back. Signed up with like a minor league team with the Phillies and worked his way up and made his debut yesterday, about 8 years after he was drafted.
Wow.
Oldest
nice, Gary!
That's like the fucking movie. It's like The Rookie, isn't it? Is it The Rookie?
Yeah, The Rookie, but that guy was just a no one.
Yeah.
And then end up coming back as a 35-year-old after coaching BP.
Yeah.
That's a good movie, that one. Dennis Quaid.
It is. Rookie. I need to watch. There's a few I need to line up and just fucking go through like a marathon again, Greeno. The Rookie is one. I watched Moneyball again. I'm just going to give another nice little... Nice Gary to Moneyball. A couple of weeks ago.
Twice a year.
At least twice a year. A couple of weeks ago, I thought, it's time for my Moneyball fix. So I got that one down the chamber, but I need to watch The Rookie again, and fucking Tin Cup needs to be on the list.
I watched Tin Cup. I only watched Tin Cup recently because I was thinking about the US Open, so I watched Tin Cup. I was on a Costa kick. And I watched Tin Cup. A little bit is better than nada.
With Cheech Marin in it as his caddy. It's a fucking great movie. Renee Russo's in it. She's amazing. Everyone loves her. So,
Don Johnson.
Don Johnson in a Greeno. Nice, Gary. It's a great flick. What other sports flicks are there?
No, well, written by the guy that wrote White Men Can't Jump and Bull Durham.
There you go. Nice, Gary. I did not know that.
Yeah, same guy. That's how he's got Costner to be in the movie, because he wrote Bull Durham with Costner that was already in that. Do you want to watch a movie if you can find it? It's really hard to find. It's called 61 Not Out.
Yeah,
it's about like the home run chase.
Okay,
no, it's about the home run chase of Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle of Babe Ruth's record. Really fucking good film made by Billy Crystal.
Okay,
I think you'd really like it. It's quite an interesting tale. It's less about the baseball side of things and more about the pressures off the field and how it really took a toll on Roger Maris and the psychological toll of the pressure of being the bad guy in New York, even though he was part of the team, because everyone loved Mickey Mantle instead. I wanted him to break the record of Babe Ruth. So it's quite interesting.
Who you can spoil it for me? Who ended up breaking it? Mickey Mantle?
Roger Maris.
Roger Maris. Okay.
Yeah, because Mickey Mantle ended up with like an abscess on his hip, I think, and had to miss a whole bunch of games.
Right.
And Roger Maris ended up getting, I think Mickey Mantle's got in 56 home runs, and Mantle ended up getting Maris ended up hitting the 61 home runs to beat Babe Ruth's 60 that he previously hit.
Wow. So, and this poor guy, Roger Maris, is probably a lovely fella who's never upset anyone. And Mickey Mantle was just the more of the fucking show pony than the big dick who would, you know.
he was more charismatic. So, like, Maris didn't like the media. He was just like, I don't want to talk to you.
He was your Sampras and Agassi situation.
100% it was, man. 100%. Roger Maris was Pete Sampras. and Mickey Mantle was Andre Agassi. That's 100% correct. But yeah, really good film, kind of behind the scenes, made by Billy Crystal as the director, and he's a big, passionate Yankees fan, and he loves Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle, but he kind of didn't want to frame it as like a love letter to him. So it really delves into like the background of Mantle's alcoholism and stuff like that as well. It's fine. It's quite a good flick. So if you can find it, check that one out. Other sports films worth watching. You've seen most of them.
Yeah, I know.
Like, you can always go back and watch White Men Can't Jump again. That's awesome.
White Men Can't Jump doesn't really qualify as a sports film for me, though. It doesn't. No, it doesn't. I'm sorry. It's a comedy.
Well, it is, but it's based in a realm of sport.
Sort of, though. It's not professional. It's kind of like Pool Hall Junkies.
Oh, that's a good
version
film.
It's a version of basketball, though, right? Like hustling and shit. You know, it's not like Blue Chips, Green. And now Blue Chips is a sports movie.
Blue Chips. Fuck it off. Well, how's Tin Cup a sports movie then? That's a comedy that happens to be around the realm of sport.
No, because I guess it's the whole PGA thing, I guess, that makes it a sports film. Is that true what I read on Twitter the other day? One of the PGA players, they got disqualified for hitting the ball into the car park and then literally jumped straight in their car and drove to the other Rebel League and signed up that day. Is that true?
Well, half of that's true.
Okay. Because I thought that's a fucking amazing story if that's true. Got disqualified, didn't even hand in his fucking scorecard. Just walked straight to his car, Kimi Räikkönen style, Greeno. Got the fuck out of there and went home. I thought, that's amazing. I love that.
It was a good story. No, I don't even know if that guy's actually signed with the Rebel League, but what actually happened is, I think it was the 18th hole, he hit his ball out of bounds and realised by the time he got back to his position to play his shot, he would have held up the players behind him, and he'd already missed the cut. and he was already near the car park. So he's like,
right. So he just was like, fuck it, I'm out of here. Yeah.
I'm not going to fuck around with these guys behind me. I'm already not going to make the cut. It doesn't matter if I hand him my scorecard. Fuck it, I'm literally going to hop in my car and leave.
Does he miss out on money, though, because he didn't qualify as finishing or some shit?
Look, I think if you don't, like, I think you're still entitled to money, perhaps.
Get an appearance fee.
That's a good question. I actually don't know. I think you're still going to get your appearance fee, depending on how, like, he must have been
because you could make a good living, Greeno, just showing up and teeing off on the first hole of the weekend and then going, all right, I'm quitting. See you, boys. Collect your fucking $2,500 and get the bus to the next event. You know?
100% you can. Like, that's 100% correct. Even in, like, MLB, there's a situation like their minimum is $700,000, I think, a year.
Nice.
So if you get called up for one game, you get more for that one game than you get your entire minor league season.
Oh, really? So you get the $700K for one game. If you're called up, you're on the team. Bang, you're in.
It's kind of prorated, but the salary in minor leagues is so low.
Yeah, don't they get like $100 a day or something ridiculously low? Like they're eating ramen noodles and shit, aren't they?
Yeah, like they're bread sandwiches. Butter sandwiches. It's just terrible.
Is it still that bad, though, after all that? Because I remember that was the way it was seen back in the 90s, and I was like, it can't be that bad now, surely.
Just as bad now. They've only introduced last year where they want to force teams to provide at least accommodation, because what was happening is they were being billeted. So, like, your home team, they'd have no accommodation. They won't get enough wage to pay for, like, rental properties or anything. So they'd stay at local families' houses when they were staying at home, and then they'd have to like sleep on the bus and shit. Like it's no good. But yeah, I think they've now forced the teams to go.
What they're doing basically, because your initial thought would be a situation like that is unsustainable. Clearly, the minor league is too big to sustain itself, and these conditions aren't acceptable, and it needs to be reduced down. Because they think we're nuts when they look at like the NRL, say, and it has like 7 teams in one city. And they all go, you fucking guys are crazy. And it's like, yeah, but it's self-sustaining. Like they look at the AFL and they go, what the fuck is going on down there? Because there's 7 teams, but they still get 80, 90,000 people to games. And it's like, how the fuck are you doing that? And it's because it's a consolidation, right? America's roughly the same size as Australia in terms of geography, like pure square meters. And to get from one side to the other is a fucking long time. And I know minor leagues kind of stick close within their general region, don't they, for the most part? But it's still a lot of fucking busing and jetting and traveling and fucking around and living out of suitcases.
Well, there's no jetting. It's all on buses.
It's all busing around. So you would think that it would be unsustainable. We need to consolidate down. But no, what they do is they dangle the dreams of their team in front of them, like a carrot. You know how you tie the carrot in front of the donkey and just make him walk until he dies, drops dead in the fucking desert, Greeno? So they do that to the minor league players by dangling the dream, and it's like, yeah, it is fucking tough. You're going to be eating ramen noodles and potato skins for 2 years, but hey, you might make it one day. You know,
they refer to it like, oh, it's the dream, blah blah blah, and people they might never make it, but. They get some.
Is there some guys who have been playing like minor league baseball who are like the pros at minor league who have been doing it for like 10 years and just live the life like old fucking grizzled club owners and shit, Greeno?
Sure is, mate. There's plenty of them out there. And a couple of them, like occasionally you see a story where someone after 14 years in the minor leagues gets to come in for a day and make their major league debut because like they're in a town and they just need someone on the bench or whatever.
Wow.
Nice when they make it, but yeah, it's a long life. Like, you think about it though, it's no different from like our younger days where we'd live on piss all money and just find a way to survive. Like you don't know what money is until you have money. You know what I mean? Like when you're on $300 a week, well, $300 a week.
You make it work.
Find a way to make it work. And if that's the life you've lived since you're young and you're playing baseball and you're having fun, like so be it.
I have officially declared previously that my wife and I are the world's premier preparers and presenters of potato dishes because we were so fucking broke when we moved out of home and we were living in this flat in Parramatta, Greeno. Do you remember that place?
Mate, I remember the shop post the potatoes because I was at your house.
That's right. And so we had to get very creative because literally the only thing we could afford was like a fucking bag of potatoes to eat. So that was it. And so it was like, all right, what do we got? Potatoes, a bunch of spices, and some condiments. We'll figure it out. And you had to come up with different ways to cook the potato every single day in order. But you know what? Fucking make it work, Greeno.
Nice, Gary.
Make it work.
Find a way. I literally remember your lovely wife coming home because for some reason you guys were struggling at that particular point financially, but Greeno still rocked up and hang out at your house. And you were kind enough to let me be there. Don't get me wrong, I didn't move.
Everyone used to come and hang out because I think everyone else was still I think we were one of the first ones to get out, you know.
Not in Para though. No one visited you in Para.
No, because Para was halfway. It was a halfway house because some of the friends would be on their way to the city or on their way back. You know, and Para is kind of like halfway between where all of us grew up and where the city is. So it was like halfway towards the city. So yeah, it would become like, hey, we can go hang out in Para and then go to the city later. And, you know, it was that kind of a thing.
I remember at that time I was going through a rough patch myself and I was staying at your house for a couple of days and it was the first shop that you got back after like I think it was about a month of nothing but potatoes.
We got steaks today.
And you literally the meal that you had, I remember the smile on your lovely wife's face and your face was like, we're eating this tonight because I think the first paycheck had come in after you found a new job and whatnot. Yeah. And it was just like, this is what you do. Like, that's fucking living. Like you live to your means. That's in reality. Yeah, we live to our means now and we live a lot nicer than we did back then. Yeah. But back then, I used to live on, I didn't eat really. I got photos from your wedding where I look like I'm a heroin addict without ever touching heroin. And it's like, I just fucking didn't eat because I had no money. And the choice was I could have cigarettes or I could buy an extra meal.
That's so true.
I'll buy a pack of smokes instead. And, I can survive on one meal a day. It's fine. Now I had 2 meals this morning. And I'm like, I really could do a third before my lunch break.
You're having 2 breakfasts now, Greeno. You live in the high life.
The highlight. Well, my breakfast, I had a roast beef and cheese sandwich at 10:30. But at the same time,
that's a good breakfast. Yeah, I like that.
I was very hungry. So, but once again, that was 10 years ago. I'm like, I got a pizza pocket to eat later. You just live to your means.
You live to your means.
I guess to the original point, if you're a minor leaguer, you're out there playing baseball and you eat butter sandwiches every day, well, that's just what you do.
Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Mate, I remember when I moved out, because I've done a trade here, and when you're an apprentice doing a trade, you get a percentage of the full tradesman's wage. So the first year will be 50%, and then the second year would be 60%. So I moved out of home on a 60% wage, basically. Yeah. And remember that first place, and we were living across the road from a club, and I used up all of my sick days. We had 8 or 9 sick days for the year. I used all of them up in the first month and a half living in this place because we lived across the road from this club. So whatever money I made, I was just eating at the club, drinking at the club because it was literally across the fucking road. We would both get home from work, myself and my roomie, and we would just go over and all right, what do you got? I got to the point where I was starting to, because, I'm on 60% wage. I'm still driving to work. I'm paying rent. All of a sudden you're a kid and you're in this situation. It's like, fuck, I really don't have that much money to spend. So I started collecting up all of my change. And what I would do is I knew that the beer across the road would cost $2.60 or whatever it was at the time. So I would separate out 1 beer worth in each pocket. I would wear cargo pants with 4 or 5 pockets on them. Jacket with 2 or 3 pockets, and so so I didn't have to count out 5 and 10 cent pieces at the bar, Greeno. And so I would go up and I'd go 1 schooner, and I'd reach into one of my pockets. I would have 9 or 10 beers worth of change on me in different pockets, 1 each pocket, and I'd just clear them out as I go. So I'd put the change on the bench. And the first time I go up to this guy, this cat, he thinks I'm trying to get the better of him. And I look at him, I'm like, mate, I'm here all the time. I literally live across the road. Trust me, it's all there. And he's like, hang on a minute. And he kind of puts his hand up to me. Hang on, mate. I'm like, all right, mate. And he goes and he counts the 5 and 10 cent pieces. And he's like, you're taking the piss, mate, to me. I'm like, no, this is what I'm paying with. And he's like, and he puts it in the thing. And then I come up the next time and he looks at me and again. Looks at me again, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take a schooner and you. And he's like, all right. And I take another fucking pocket out and kind of drop the fucking change on the bench in front of me. And I look at him and I said, mate, I literally live across the road. He's like, yeah, I trust you, mate.
Nice, Gary.
I trust you, mate. So,
the good thing about that club, and once again, talk about living to our means, and we didn't have much money. We were all working you're working on 6% wage. I was working part-time. All the boys either had no jobs or fucking pretty low-paying jobs, all part-time.
Yep.
But that club there, the reason we catch up there, one, it was super cheap. Like I said, $2.60 for a schooner.
Yep.
Secondly was...
You can get pissed up and fed and, not go broke, basically.
But free pool as well.
Free stick. Absolutely. So it was entertainment the whole time as well.
Entertainment. They used to open up the jukebox like free for like certain hours. We knew what hours to get there for the free jukebox.
If you got there at the right time as well, they used to bring out free hot food every now and then.
Free hot food, so you didn't have to buy dinner that night.
That's
so
right.
Once again, live to your means. You rock up to the club, you get the free little
finger snacks.
Finger snacks. Excellent. They used to have like little trays of peanuts they bring out sometimes. So you'd have that. And suddenly, like you had a night out, you spent $8, you played pool all night, you had a bunch of peanuts, you had some finger food,
cheese.
And you had a couple of beers.
They would have peanuts and cheese in these dispenser things, cubes of cheese. You couldn't even do that now, Greeno, because someone would be in there going, my kid's allergic and COVID and everyone's going to get a rash and die. And it'd be like, for a long time, kids, you won't believe this. We all there was like big fucking dispensers of crackers and cheese and peanuts at the club that we used to drink cheap beer at. And you would have free pool and just free snacks, and you could take a plate and go and fill up your plate with cheese and fucking crackers and peanuts and all that kind of shit while you drink your beer. And it was perfectly fine. Now you can't do it anymore.
And then, like on the back of that, then you could go to say the all night club, say Panthers.
Yep.
Now, for me, once again, I didn't like. I was always a designated driver, which is fine. But I'd find a way to make those things because anyone who was a designated driver, I mean, free soft drinks, and they always had the free coffee machine at Panthers, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't paying for drinks.
Yeah.
And then they'd have once again, you'd have the free live band, so I didn't have to pay for entertainment. So for the whole night, I'd buy like an $8 pack of Peter Stuyvesant.
Yes.
And I'd drink fucking Coke, water. Actually, I didn't drink water back then. Coke, it was free because I was designated driver. I got a stamp. And then free coffee till I could need to go to sleep.
Yep.
Bang, live to your means. So ways to fucking get a whole bunch of free shit.
Yeah, you can do it. We have a mate who used to scam the hamburger joints by going in there. His mate would order like a fucking quarter pounder or something, and then he would take the burger like around the corner and march back in there and go, I was just fucking in here and I ordered a vegetarian burger and this has meat in it. I've taken a bite out. This is fucking disgusting. Because we're not going to mention his name, but this particular friend of ours, it's 100% what he looks like. Like he has fucking long hair and dreads and tats everywhere and rings through his nose and shit. So he pulls it off like you wouldn't fucking believe. And he's like, I'm a fucking vegetarian. This is fucking bullshit. And he would be like, we ate like kings that day because they'd be like, here have 5 vegetarian burgers and all the fries we have as long as you just shut up and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
So there's always ways, Greeno, of
that
living cheap.
That particular friend that you mentioned, me and him once had a challenge for 1 week to see how much free food we could get without ever stealing anything. All you had was your words. So you either had to convince someone to give you something for free, or you had to come up with like a scam to make someone give you a refund for something you paid for. Yeah. And I think at the end of it, we tallied it up, and between us, we got about $112 worth of food.
Do you see
free?
Do you see my American? If you're one of my American brothers and sisters who would maybe listen to my podcast, this is the shit I'm talking about when I tell you that never trust an Australian. And we are all taught where it's in our DNA. We learn how to fuck each other over from a very young age. Everyone, when you're in Australia, either you have to be stealing from everyone, or imagine everyone is trying to get something from you. That's our system. That's what keeps everyone in balance. Just assume everyone is trying to screw everybody else all the time.
To be fair, we kept all our scamming to nothing but the big market chains. So small business.
So it's a victimless crime then, yeah.
So my theory is like these people are already making billions and we're on literally $5 an hour. If I can convince the $1 billion corporation to give me a free cheeseburger,
it's not stealing if the other one's rich, basically.
If they're choosing to give it to me. You know what I mean?
That's it, yeah. If they're making a conscious decision to hand it over, then it's not stealing.
That was the rule. You can't steal the food. The rule is they have to hand the food to you for free.
Yep.
So we went to a festival once, got a whole bunch of free shit there. I forget what the scam was. But anyway, that's what you have to do. You got no fucking money. I could only afford Peter Stuyvesant or Peter Jackson, depending on which smoke machine we could be at. Normally it was PJ's, but Stuyvesant's at Panthers. that's how you live. Live till
It's
the
just
end,
beautiful, Greeno, because these are the life skills that, you know, where we grew up. These are the life skills that we adopted. And it's just nice to know we'll be able to pass this on to our kids one day, Greeno, telling them how to scam free lunch so they can afford their fucking ciggies, mate. That's what we're going to be passing down to the next generation of Westies.
I did just think of the irony though. I was literally complaining about a $12 conversion fee earlier in the show, and I'm like, I used to get a whole night out on $12.
It's so true. Your standards have changed, my man.
Yeah,
You've changed, bro. You've been out of the area too long, man.
Too long.
Yep.
More baseball statmans before we
Statman.
wrap up.
I'm a scat man.
You know the New York Yankees, man. This is a fucking storied franchise, right? Like,
Yeah.
fucking, this is a team that's been around forever.
Yep.
Joey Gallo, who plays for the New York Yankees, had 138 batting average with 32 strikeouts in June. Joey Gallo, in the history of the Yankees, we're talking a couple hundred years here, is the first player in Yankees history with a sub 150 batting average and 30 strikeouts in any month. Never happened before. That's how bad he's going.
Wow.
Hitting. I could hit.
Don't they say the worst ever player is like the Griffey Jr. guy? Is that not Ken Griffey Jr., but like, isn't it someone with a very similar name who's like the worst ever considered?
No, you're thinking of Mendoza.
Oh, no. I was thinking of the Family Guy guy, the one that they show in Family Guy.
Griffey's one of the greatest players in history.
Okay.
It's definitely not Griffey. Mendoza has the. It's called the Mendoza line. So anyone, like if you're hitting 200 in MLB, you're considered a pretty shit player.
Mm-hmm.
So I forget the guy's first name,
but
Mendoza,
it's not a big jump between like, because 250 is considered pretty good, isn't it? Like
250 is considered like you're all right. 300, you're a very good player, and anything above 300, you're sensational.
How many hit like 320? What's Shohei Ohtani hit? Is it 320, 330, something like that?
No, well, Shohei doesn't hit as much for average. He hits home runs. So he's hitting about 256, I think, so far this season. But he's got like 20 homers or 18 homers, something like that.
So that indicates he takes more risks at 256 rather than he's a shitty hitter.
Like, he's not going to get as many hits, but if he gets a hit, he's more likely to hit it out, which is going to cause more damage. So MLB in the new kind of the new version of Moneyball is we want players, we'd rather the average be low, but they hit more homers.
The new meta is hitting more homers. I like that. Okay.
Pretty much. They don't mind if you strike out as long as you're hitting for power.
So so what's happened is Moneyball has now returned up its own anus and is starting to come out its own mouth again, and we're back to hitting home run hitters. Like those signing home run hitters. Who hits the most home runs? Sign him. It's like, congratulations, we're back to 1880.
Nice.
Well done. Moneyball just went all the way back to the start again. It's like, let's just hire the guys who can hit it over the fence. Great idea. The maths are right there. It makes sense.
Well, it comes full circle.
Fantastic. So we're going to need a new Moneyball when all of the home run hitters become super expensive yet again.
Well, the new Moneyball is actually the Cleveland Guardians at the moment.
Because they're not the Indians anymore. I forget about that.
Yeah, they're now the Guardians. But they're playing.
What is a Guardian, by the way? Like, what is their mascot? What does it do?
Well, the Guardian is actually the two towers that happen to be on the bridge as you enter Cleveland.
As if anyone knows about the Cleveland Bridge outside of Cleveland.
No one gives a fuck, but that's what they named it after.
Wait, Cleveland does a bridge? I didn't even know there was water there.
Neither did I, until someone said, "What the fuck's this? The Guardian's a stupid name. It's about the bridge. It's still the Guardians." Well, whatever. I guess it's not racist. I find it's just
See, coming from Sydney, we mock all your bridges, like, whatever. You call that a bridge? That's
I think I've seen close is the Golden Gate. Like that's a pretty fucking cool bridge.
That's a pretty epic bridge. I'll give you that, but it's not as good as ours. So
no, it's not. Like fucking I've been on both, and the Harbour Bridge better.
Yeah, it's a picture.
Yeah, it certainly is. Yep. Should we wrap it up there? Call it a day?
Call it a day. Let's get the fuck out of here. We're done.
See, you're doing a show tomorrow, so what's in the lineup? What are we looking at?
I am. I can give you a quick rundown of the lineup if you want.
Let's go for it. Get some plugs in.
Yeah.
It's still early. It's not midnight tonight, so we've got energy to do some plugs.
All right. I'll tell you what, if you're a starting block viewer, first of all, there's something fucking wrong with you. But second of all, you're going to get the scoop on what we've got. So we've got the one that Braddles sent, actually, Greeno. The internet is debating whether online teabagging is sexual assault.
Fair call.
Going to get into that. We've also got that protester who blocked the Sydney Harbour Tunnel the other day by barking across both.
City. Yep.
Yep. So we're going to cover her. We're going to, because the trashy tabloids have done what they've done best, have done what they do best, and that is deep dive into her personal life and exposed a whole bunch of shit.
Oh, this is good.
So that's very good. So we're going to leech off the back of their scavenging, shitty rat-like behaviour for our own amusement. We're also got an update. We're gonna cover the fat suits, Greeno, that you sent a couple of weeks ago. I want to go back into that. I want to examine that a little more deeply. Get back into the fat suit discussion.
What's that one about? That's
where wearing a fat suit is now fat shaming because you shouldn't have skinny actresses. You know, you've got to be
skinny actresses. That's right. I'm like, I thought that was the story. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. Yep. We've got an update on the COVID stuff. How about the ABC apologizes for their years of racist treatment of their host, Greeno? Did you know about that?
I didn't see that. Did you watch? You wouldn't have, but they did the ABC 90 special last night, like 90 years of the ABC. No. And there was a lot of woke stuff in it.
Yeah, like as if the last 20 years encapsulates the last 90.
It really was. I'm like, they're like, these are the highlights. And I'm like, oh, how much?
They literally think history began in 1968 or something, Greeno.
No, it was just very interesting. It was like, well, hang on, like you're talking about, because I'm in my head thinking of the greatest comedy shows, whatever, of like the ABC, and I'm thinking like the games, like
too spicy, mate. Too many controversial jokes in there.
No, which those shows are fine, but then there were like a whole bunch of like Indigenous and gay shows. Which, once again, no problem with it.
Yeah,
but
I don't care.
I'm like, if I'm thinking of the greatest shows, like, it seems like you've thrown these Indigenous and gay ones in there.
Thrown them in there to bulk up the numbers.
At the back end to do the balance. And then I saw drama, and same thing. There was a whole bunch at the very back end. They're just like, here's a bunch of great shows. I've never heard of these ones.
Like news. It was an afterthought, Greeno.
Yeah,
like
news,
they thought
similar story, like a bunch of like really woke stories at the very back end. And I'm like, these are the biggest stories. And because I was listening to my wife, and I'm like, what are the things you remember the most? Like, if you're thinking news stories over our life, what are you thinking? We name 9/11 and like Linz siege and like things like that. Where you're like, like the bushfires and whatnot. Yep. But then suddenly there was just these random like really woke things. And I'm like, where'd that fucking come from? Like,
I don't remember that.
I would have put that on the short list.
Well, they're rewriting history now. We're making out like it's always been a big deal, like 30 years ago, because we have to rewrite history to implant the idea in the generations now to make them feel like this is the way it's always been and there's nothing you can do to change it.
It wasn't. But yeah. No, I found it interesting. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract from your plug.
No. The plug's done, mate.
It just made me think. Yeah, I was just like, I remember watching that last one. I'm like, what the fuck? Where did this come from? Like, what's changed?
Yeah. So we're doing that and more.
8 a.m. Australian time tomorrow?
Australian time, yeah, around that. 8-ish.
Yeah.
No, yeah, 8-ish. Yeah, 8-ish a.m. So it'll be 6-ish p.m. US time.
US time, yeah, because I think I saw you plug 8 o'clock earlier.
Well, maybe I'll take that opportunity to actually do the show at 10 a.m. Sydney time, which might be better, and I'll just do the show at 8 instead.
Maybe we can do. Your show.
Yeah, maybe I might. Yeah, who cares? Yeah. I haven't done one for like a month and a half, so what's the difference?
Did you do a streaming one last week?
Yeah, did the game stream. We had fun.
Oh, you did, yeah. That's all right.
Yeah, we had fun. We started as Egypt, and we had one community that were our only friends who tried to offer us money to be their friend, and we invaded them. Because we held Jerusalem. We held Jerusalem, Greeno, and we wanted to be historically accurate. So we took our savage neighbors who were, you have much wisdom to offer us. Please give us your wisdom and show us your ways. And we tried to invade their city and take their money.
Nice, Gary.
So yeah, nice, Gary. It didn't really work out for us though.
Gary!
It didn't work out the way we intended anyway. But yeah, that was fun. Good times. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we'll leave it there. Check out Damo Show tomorrow. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy
We'll sit down